My family shamelessly forged my signature to take a huge loan and fund my sister's lavish life. So I made them finally collapse in court under the very truth they tried to hide. It was supposed to be a casual afternoon. Burgers, lemonade, folding chairs on a lawn that still smelled like fresh mulch, a backyard barbecue, nothing fancy. The kind of day where you show up with a six-pack and leave with mosquito bites and sunburn. I didn't expect anything dramatic. I came to support, to be present, maybe flip some hot dogs, laugh with the kids, and disappear into the background like I usually do. I wasn't trying to make a statement, just show up. Then Grandma spoke loudly, cheerfully, like she was offering a toast. Your car loan's fully paid now. $12,000 is no joke, but you're worth it. The laughter around the table didn't stop, it paused. I blinked. Grandma, I don't even have a car. Silence. She looked confused, then glanced to her left, just a flicker of panic. Right then, my sister walked in, holding up a new set of keys like she'd won the lottery. The fob dangled, chrome and red. She smiled like she hadn't heard a thing. No one said a word. Not my mom, who had been slicing watermelon. Not my dad, who stared down at his plate like it held answers. Not even my cousin Andrew, who always joked about everything. Everyone just shifted. That's when I knew it wasn't an accident. I wasn't supposed to know. I wasn't supposed to ask. They opened the account under my name without consulting me, and they didn't think I'd notice, or they thought I'd swallow it like always. Smile, nod, say, glad she's happy, and hand over more. I didn't argue. I didn't confront. I just stood there, skin prickling under the summer sun, and sat back down like nothing had happened. 2 hours later, while everyone was inside laughing at a TikTok on the big TV I bought last Christmas, I opened my loan app on my phone. Approved. $12,000 cleared in my name. I didn't say a word. My hands didn't shake. My jaw didn't tighten. I just closed the app, checked the date, and screenshot the approval page. When I looked up, Grandma was walking toward me. No smile now. She didn't look at me, just reached into her purse and pulled out a thick yellow folder. She slid it across the table without a word, without a glance. Inside were printouts, contracts, dealership papers, all of it signed by me. Only I never signed a thing. That night at 2 a.m, my phone lit up with notifications, 13 messages, 5 missed calls, and a voicemail from my sister that started with, "Please don't do anything crazy, okay?" I didn't reply. I had already done something far worse than crazy. I had gone silent. The folder stayed on my kitchen counter for 3 days. I didn't touch it. Not at first. I just let it sit there like some cursed relic, daring me to open it again. On the third night, when I couldn't sleep, I finally did. That's when the pattern came into focus. It wasn't just the car. It was the utility bill from last fall. The one my mom said was probably a glitch when I asked why I'd been charged twice. It was the second streaming service my dad didn't know I was still paying for, even though I removed their profiles months ago. It was the $500 school deposit my sister's kid needed, just temporarily, except they never paid me back, never even brought it up again. I traced the dates, aligned the charges. Every single favor became a precedent. Every dollar I covered became an expectation. Every silence, every time I didn't push back, became permission. I wasn't family, I was funding. I felt used, financially and emotionally. The worst part? They knew it. Grandma's folder had the receipts, literal and figurative, dealership printouts, insurance plans, my financial details, pages and pages of bold moves made with stolen trust and forged familiarity. I flipped to the last sheet and saw my own signature, photocopied from an old document. I'd signed for a summer internship, sloppily traced onto a finance agreement. They hadn't even tried to hide it because why would they? I was the reliable one, the quiet one, the he won't make a scene one. The flashbacks came like wildfire. The birthday I wasn't invited to because the table only fit 10, but my bank statement showed a $600 charge for catering. The wedding where I paid for the floral arrangements and wasn't listed in the program. The group vacation where I covered the Airbnb and got a thank you text meant for someone else. Every memory rearranged itself in my head, not as isolated insults, but as data points in a long, quiet betrayal. They didn't love me less, they just valued me for what I gave more than who I was. I let them. I let them tell me I was lucky to be included. I let them laugh when I offered to help because helping was the only way they knew how to accept me. But now the truth was right there on paper. They had spent $12,000 under my name, bought a car, gave my sister the keys, and smiled through it like it was a blessing because they assumed I'd do what I always did, pay, disappear, and wait for a scrap of gratitude that never came. This time they'd miscalculated. This time I'd blinked and seen it all. That night, I logged into every bank account I owned, changed every password, froze every autopay, and pulled my credit report. Then I called the dealership. "Hi," I said. "I think a car was purchased under my name without my consent." The guy on the phone got quiet, then asked, "Is your name Kevin?" I said, "Yes." He sighed. "I figured you'd call." The dealership rep's voice had that customer service calm, but the edge underneath told me everything. He knew, not the details, not yet, but he'd seen the kind of disaster that came dressed up in family signatures. "You're technically the listed owner," he added. I didn't answer right away, just stared at the folder Grandma had slid across the table like a courtroom verdict. I hadn't slept. My hands didn't shake. My jaw didn't clench. But everything inside me had gone razor sharp. I didn't want an apology. I wanted leverage. I was done playing quiet. "You'll be picking the car up tonight," I said. Pause. "Yes, sir. I'll initiate repo protocol now." I hung up and opened my laptop. For the next 7 hours, I became what they feared most, the quiet one who finally made noise. Phase 1, reclaiming boundaries. First came the accounts. Netflix, gone. All profiles erased. Even the family fun one with Grandma's favorite show bookmarked. Spotify Premium, downgraded to free tier. 5 people suddenly learning what ads sound like. Amazon Prime, revoked. No more free shipping for birthday gifts they never sent me. Password manager, reset. Every shared login, gone. Smart home access, I built it, I dismantled it. Thermostat, locked. Cameras, offline. Wi-Fi, unplugged from my business console. Cloud storage, canceled. Backup photos, documents, shared files vanished into the void they assumed was permanent. My phone lit up within hours. "Mom, hey, something's wrong with the Wi-Fi." "Dad, did the thermostat reset?" "Sister, why is the camera app saying unauthorized device?" I didn't reply. I was just getting started. Phase 2, financial extraction. Their mortgage, I co-signed it. It was temporary, they said, just until things stabilized. They never stabilized because why would they when I was the buffer? I logged into the lender portal and started the process to remove myself from the loan. It triggered an automatic review. The bank called me within the hour. "I'm concerned they won't qualify without you," the rep said. "Good," I answered. The rep didn't argue. 2 days later, the bank emailed an updated loan estimate. Their monthly payment would nearly double if I left. It was either refinance or lose the house. I didn't tell them. Let them open that email at breakfast. Let them try to call me when the buffer stopped buffering. Phase 3, asset audit. I dug deeper, past the subscriptions and the bills. I found the old lease on the storage unit I paid for, the one holding half the family's heirlooms. I found the business insurance for their home office under my name. I found the hosting account for the family photo site they used every holiday. I deleted it. I pulled up the domain registration for my dad's little tax prep side hustle. Guess who paid the renewal for the last 6 years? I transferred it to a private registrar and locked it. Then I called the CPA software provider and revoked their license. Their tax records no longer accessible. Their auto-renewal canceled. I wasn't stealing anything. I was reclaiming it. Phase 4, the system shut down. Back when I started my company, a full-stack IT and back-end infrastructure firm, I gave them access to the same tools my corporate clients used: firewall protection, network optimization, encrypted backup. They thought I was just helping. They never read the paperwork. I logged into the back end and reclassified both accounts, my parents' firm and my uncle's clinic, from family-free access to terminated. The system queued a full disablement. I left a note on their admin dashboards. This infrastructure was maintained at no charge since 2016. Effective immediately, all services have been revoked. No emotion, no warning, just digital severance. At 6:12 in the evening, my uncle left a voicemail, half confusion, half panic. "We can't log in. Our files are gone. Were you hacked?" "Call me a sap, I didn't." At 6:45, a message from my dad. "You went too far. This isn't just about the car." No, it wasn't. It never was. Phase 5, strategic exposure. I still had the screenshots, the dealership forms with my fake signature, the loan approval, Grandma's folder. I compiled them into a single PDF, timestamped, organized, factual. Then I sent it to 3 people: my family's accountant, a fraud investigator I knew from a past client, and my lawyer. By 9 in the evening, I had a plan in motion, the car repossessed, the fraud reported. My financial ties severed, their infrastructure offline, their secrets documented. The final blow, the silence. I didn't scream, didn't post, didn't call anyone because the silence wasn't a retreat. It was a verdict. By midnight, my phone had 112 missed calls, 13 from my sister, 21 from my dad, 2 voicemails from grandma, 1 tearful, 1 angry. I didn't listen. I knew what they were going to say. You're tearing this family apart. No, they were tearing it apart. I just stopped taping it back together. They didn't call to apologize. They never do. They called to control, to manipulate, to remind me I was one of them, even after everything they'd done. The night the car was repossessed, my phone didn't stop vibrating. It lit up like a bomb had gone off in a group chat I didn't ask to join. My sister was first. They said the car is gone. What did you do? Then my mom, please just call. We don't understand why you're doing this. Then Dad, this is childish. You're embarrassing yourself. I didn't respond. They weren't confused. They realized they had gone too far, and they couldn't stand it. At 2:36 in the morning, another call came in, my sister again, crying. They said there might be charges. I didn't know they'd take it. I thought you'd fix it. I ended the call without a word because that was the core of it. They never believed anything I did had real weight, real teeth. They thought they could steal from me, lie, forge, and fake, and I'd just patch it up like I always did. Not this time. By the next morning, the desperation mutated into something darker. My aunt posted on Facebook, "Heartbreaking when family turns on you." But truth always surfaces. We have receipts. Receipts, that's what they considered the documents, even though I never signed them. False accounts. A debt trail that led straight to me. I didn't answer. I let the silence do what words never could. But then the texts turned to outright slander. You always wanted attention. You finally got it. You destroyed your sister's life over a misunderstanding. We took care of you when no one else would. This isn't justice. It's cruelty. You think this makes you strong? It makes you alone. They tried every angle, guilt, shame, manipulation, even pity. They pulled every lever except the one that mattered, accountability. When that didn't work, they showed up at my door. No warning, no appointment, just pounding fists and raised voices outside my apartment. Talk to us. You're still our son. And then my father, you'll regret this. You always come back. Just wait. I didn't open the door. I didn't even go near it. They weren't here for resolution. They were here for control, for a return to the status quo where I stayed quiet and they stayed comfortable. That night, I got an email from my mother. Subject, you've made your point. The body read, we're contacting a lawyer. This wasn't fraud. It was family. If you continue harassing us, we'll take legal action. They thought they could flip the script, that I was the one who crossed the line, that filing a fraud report for something they actually did made me the aggressor. I didn't respond. Instead, I did something worse. I sat with it. Let them feel the vacuum, the absence of the fixer, the gap left when the reliable one stopped picking up calls. It worked. The next day, the tone changed. Please talk to us. You've made your point. We're falling apart here. We didn't think it would go this far. Then my sister again. I didn't know what they were doing. I just thought you'd be okay. But she did know. They all did. They counted on my silence. When they lost it, they lost their shield. I met with my lawyer that week. Showed him everything. The dealership. Contract, the forged paperwork, the call logs, the screenshots. Do you want to press charges? He asked. No, I said. Just prepare everything. In case they do. Smart move, he replied. They won't expect that. He was right because what they expected was always submission. A sigh, a passive nod, a whispered, it's fine. Not this time. I wasn't shouting. I wasn't deleting them from my life with a dramatic slam of the door. I was doing something much quieter. I was letting them collapse on their own. That weekend, my sister texted again. One line, are you done? Because I'm about to lose everything. I stared at it for a long time, then typed, no, and deleted it. Not because I changed my mind, but because I realized something more terrifying than any reply I could send, the fact I had nothing left to say. It wasn't retaliation, it was accountability, and it was permanent. I wasn't planning to go public. At first, silence felt cleaner, colder, more surgical. But then they started talking, not just in messages, not just behind my back. They went public first. My sister posted on Instagram a soft-lit selfie, tear-stained mascara, captioned, It's hard when the people you thought would be your forever turn out to be your lesson. Grateful for the ones still here. 200 likes in under an hour. Comments full of hearts and sympathy. Friends tagging each other. DMs flying. Family resharing it like gospel. I saw the story forming. I was the unstable one, the dramatic one, the bitter brother who snapped and ruined everything. The guy who took back a car like it was a toy and left his baby sister stranded, who hacked the house Wi-Fi. turned off Netflix, and held the family hostage over a miscommunication. I scrolled through the comments. You don't deserve this. Some people just want control. Cutting toxic people is hard but necessary. No one knew what actually happened. No one asked. I realized if I didn't say something soon, they'd own the story, rewrite the whole thing in their favor. So I built the truth. Not a rant, not a meltdown, a file, screenshots, contracts, call logs, the dealership approval with the forged signature, the financial documents from Grandma's folder, group chat captures, the email from the bank confirming my name was fraudulently used, all of it verified, time-stamped, truth. Then I wrote the post, not on Facebook, not on Instagram, but on LinkedIn because I wanted it where it mattered, in the world that knew me as calm, capable, collected. The headline read, "When Family Crosses the Line, a Cautionary Thread on Financial Exploitation and Identity Misuse." Then I told the story, not emotionally, factually, how my name was used for a $12,000 loan. I never approved. How the car was gifted to someone else. How the response wasn't apology but slander. I didn't name names, but everyone who needed to know knew. By the end of the day, it had over 30,000 views. Then came the messages, not from strangers, but from people I hadn't heard from in years, former colleagues, classmates. Even a cousin I hadn't seen since high school messaged me, "Thank you for saying it." I thought I was the only one. By day 2, my inbox was flooded, not just with support, but with stories. My dad forged my signature on a student loan. My sister used my social security number to apply for a credit card. Still blames me. They called it helping. I called it debt. I hadn't started a movement, but I'd hit a nerve. My family noticed fast. My mom called me 11 times in one night, no voicemails, just blank calls. My dad sent an email titled, "Take it down." Inside, it said, "You're embarrassing everyone. If you think airing our private affairs online makes you look strong, you're wrong. Take it down, or there will be consequences." He signed it with his full name, like a stranger. I didn't reply. Instead, I pinned the post. Then I sent the PDF folder, the one with every receipt, to their family. Accountant, just in case they tried to claim the car on their taxes. I attached a brief message, in case of audit. Please be aware I did not authorize or initiate this purchase. Report filed for financial misuse. Documentation attached. No emotion, just liability protection. That same night, my cousin Ellie called. "I saw everything," she said, her voice shaking. Then she added, "You need to know they've been saying you're dangerous, that you're trying to ruin the family on purpose, that you've lost it." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was so predictable. That's what people say when the scapegoat burns the mask. But Ellie wasn't done. There was a meeting, she whispered. Grandma, Uncle Ray, Mom, everyone. They passed around printouts, fake messages, ones you didn't send. I paused. "You're sure?" I saw one. It said you were planning to sue everyone, that you were building a revenge fund to take us all down. I didn't respond, just thanked her and made another copy of the PDF folder. This time with a new label, prepared response, reputation defense. Then I opened my email and did what I'd been avoiding for weeks. I sent everything to my lawyer, all the documents, the LinkedIn post, the slander, the family group chat threats, the screenshots Ellie quietly sent over from the meeting. He replied 10 minutes later, "Let's talk Monday, but for your information, this is already enough for defamation, fraud, and a civil suit." I didn't want a lawsuit, but I wanted to be ready because power, real power, isn't just in what you say, it's in what you can prove. By the next morning, the mask had cracked hard. Uncle Ray messaged me, "Take the post down. You're humiliating your parents. Grandma, you should be ashamed of dragging us through this online." My sister, one line, "I hope it was worth it." For the first time, I replied. I typed, "It wasn't worth it. It was necessary." Then I blocked her, not out of anger but out of peace. Because when someone commits emotional identity theft, you don't owe them closure. You owe yourself freedom. I hadn't gone public for revenge. I'd gone public to breathe. When I finally closed the lid of my laptop that night, something hit me. They weren't mad because I lied. They were furious because I told the truth out loud, and now everyone could see them without the mask. They didn't ask for forgiveness. They asked for access. They didn't come to make peace. They came to reclaim property they thought they still owned. Me. It was a Sunday, quiet, too quiet. I was drinking coffee with the window cracked open, reading messages of support from strangers and distant friends who now saw me for who I really was, not the bitter one, not the problem, but the survivor who stopped surviving and started walking. Then the doorbell rang. I knew before I looked. Mom, Dad, my sister, 3 steps behind them. wearing sunglasses like grief was fashionable. They stood there like missionaries selling redemption. My mom had something in her hands, a box. I didn't ask what was inside. My dad spoke first, "We just want to talk." I didn't answer. My mom extended the box like a peace offering. "It's everything, the receipts, the car title, the account closures. We're making it right." I let them talk, let them say the words they thought would fix things. That I'd always been loved, that they didn't know I felt this way, that they were under pressure, that they panicked, that they didn't mean it. But there's something wild that happens when people finally understand they've lost control. They start pretending they never wanted it in the first place. My sister stayed quiet until the very end. Then, like clockwork, she said the line I knew was coming. "We were a family once, before all this." All this, she meant the truth. She meant my boundaries. She meant the part where I refused to fund her comfort ever again. I stepped outside, closed the door behind me, not to invite them in, but to end it outside. I looked at my dad and said, "You didn't lose a car, you lost the right to ask." I turned to my mom, "You didn't lose a son. You lost your silent shield." Then I faced my sister. I had to redefine what I could give. They stood there, waiting for the crack, for my voice to break, for me to say, "But you're still my family." I didn't. I said, "There's no going back, not because I hate you, but because I finally like myself too much to come crawling back into that cage." My mom whispered, "So this is it." I nodded. No big speech, no dramatic goodbye, just this. My dad looked at me like I was a stranger, and for the first time, he was right. He didn't know the person standing in front of him because the one he remembered would have paid for lunch. After this, would have apologized for making things uncomfortable, would have offered to drive them home. I wasn't that person anymore. They left without another word. No threats, no tears, just the sound of the car door slamming shut. I didn't watch them pull away, didn't wait for the second knock. I turned around, went back inside, sat at the table, finished my coffee, and, for the first time in my entire life, I didn't feel like I owed anyone.